Hi, I'm Leslie Meredith with Breakbulk Events and Media, and I'm joined by Ed from Aberdare Cables, one of our VIP Shipper Club members who was on a panel this afternoon, part of our Francophone Super Session.
That's right.
So, welcome. And it may be hard to tell when you listen to Ed that he also speaks fluent French without his South African accent. And has lived all over the world, has an amazing background and experience, and I'm hoping that he can share with us what individuals, businesses need to keep in mind when they're looking at going in to do some kind of work or project development in one of these French-speaking countries, West Africa, what have you.
Well, thank you, Leslie. Yes, it was quite a nice experience to be here and to be on the panel. Of course, I don't have the freight forwarding experience of the other gents who were on the panel, so the contribution I made was more in terms of the practical experiences,
Right.
in terms of business development and lessons learned in terms of dealing into Francophone countries from a especially South African perspective. And yes, there are a number of differences into language. Of course, is a barrier, and if you do not speak to somebody in their own language, of course, obviously that presents a major obstacle. I think there's quite a lot of interest among South African companies to deal increasingly into the vast export market that we have in Africa. And of course, a lot of African countries have quite a high percentage GDP growth, which is very interesting to South African businesses.
In addition to the language, let's put that aside for a moment. Have to send everyone to language school. But what are some other things that people may not be aware of? Sort of the pace of business, or what kinds of sort of cultural things should they keep in mind?
Culturally, there are some differences, some subtle. I think we South Africans are very casual, maybe a bit direct. At times, I don't think it's generally meant badly, but you will find that the Francophone, or should I say French, influence on Francophone Africa did rub off, and there's quite a bit of formality in terms of dress sense, for instance. If you deal with especially a fairly senior, for instance, government official or any government official for that matter in a Francophone country, generally it's advisable to look neat and to just show respect.
Like you do today.
Thank
right?
you.
Yes.
And respect also in terms of how you address people, how shaking hands, that sort of thing, and for ladies, I find generally also to dress fairly conservatively. If you've seen some of the more traditional dresses, it's sort of seen as the more correct way to dress.
Okay.
Even in this warm climate of in Africa, where again in South Africa we tend to be casual. Formality definitely is something that we need to keep in mind when in business dealings. It also takes a bit of time to build up that relationship of trust. And of course, seen from their perspective, I think they've seen a lot of businessmen come and go. On one visit, perhaps, handing out business cards and expecting the orders to come rolling in.
Doesn't work that way.
It does
right?
not work that way. They've seen 1,000 people like that. So you really need to go back and to show that you're serious and make that commitment. It does take time. Of course, travel around Africa can be expensive. It can be quite an exercise. But I think it's worth it if you want to, if you're serious about getting the business. But it does take that investment.
Okay, good. Well, I think you really helped set our expectations to a more realistic level, right?
Thank you, Leslie.
Okay, thanks so much.